That worked perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 51 of Brat Said That. I am your host, Brat Jackson, along with my co-producer, Chad LGBT. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Easter weekend and my voice just cracked. And I'm going to talk like this for the rest of the show. It is Easter weekend. Hope everybody is going to have a great Easter. It is Sunday tomorrow. It's a nice Saturday Night Live edition of Brat Said That because I got to be at work tomorrow at 5 a.m. Yes, I am going to do this show and then I'm going to go to bed. But there is so much to talk about. The month of April is already going on track. Oh, wait, I forgot to do some things. Hold on. I got to get off the internet, and then first I disturb. So hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. See, unprepared. Forgot my microphone last show. I have my microphone now, and then now I forgot to get off the internet and go to Do Not Disturb. But you should see my computer screen right now. I got Facebook Live right here. I got the run sheet of the show right there. Watching UFC Fight Night live as it's happening. But we need to talk about something. We need to talk about SmackDown because people are pissed. Yes, last night's SmackDown. The great mysterious reveal of who Randy Orton was talking to on the phone. And it was Pat McAfee. Yes, the worst possible. You had so many opportunities to make this great. You could have went to Kevin Owens. You could have even went to Vince McMahon. You could have even had your dad, Cowboy Bob Orton, or others. So many, but you go with Pat McAfee. Now I hear that the heads of TKO love this idea, and they love Pat McAfee, and they think it's going to make WrestleMania special. But guess what? It's not. Everybody was pissed. Pat McAfee does not need to be in the storyline, but he is. So, what do you want to talk about? But, yeah, Pat McAfee. That is the answer to all our questions of who Randy Orton was on the phone with. I'd rather it have been himself. Randy Orton hears voices, and he was talking to Pat McAfee. So, yeah, we're now going to have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like Pat McAfee. Like, he is one of the big reasons why I want to start a sports podcast. Pat McAfee show was on my TV 24/7. I mean, he got a little bit too political in my eyes and, kind of swayed around, things I didn't want to hear about. But, I do love Pat McAfee. I hope my show becomes a 1 inch of what he's grown in his career. But I don't know. But this is just, it's just whatever. It's whatever. And people are pissed. People are upset. People are rioting on the internet. And you have guys like me with their shows talking about it. But, we're going to have to see what happens with that. Maybe, it's probably going to happen. McAfee's going to take a crossroads at WrestleMania. A lot of celebrity appearances for this WrestleMania. And I'll be honest, I don't like it. I don't like it. But this WrestleMania is just not about Pat McAfee. We got to talk about all the other matches, okay? SmackDown, we got Rhea and Michigan. Michigan, Maya Yim. She's with Jade Cargill, so of course Rhea's going to get to Michigan. And then Gia's going to get to BFAB. And at WrestleMania, she's going to get to Jade Cargill. So that was basically it with SmackDown. Io Sky comes out, makes a save. Rio, as they call it, are back together. Now, Io Sky does not have a match at WrestleMania, and we are literally 12 days away. 13 days away. 13 days away from WrestleMania. And Io Sky, who has won the... I want to say it was a match of the year last year with Io, Bianca, and Rhea. Doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. Does not make sense. Not make sense at all. Then you have poor Matt Cardona back from the Indies, one of my favorites. He's getting beat up by everybody. Aleister Black beat him up last night. Randy Orton beat him up last night. Chelsea Green beats him up every night. But, something is no match at WrestleMania, Matt Cardona. Aleister Black, no match at WrestleMania yet. But one match I'm kind of happy doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, which, I love everybody and I want everybody to have a great spot at WrestleMania, make that payday. But finally, the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six is finally over. Uncle Howdy got his lantern back, and this is it. We're done. Whew. That was a long, drawn-out feud. I love everybody on MFT and, the Wyatt Six, but damn, we need to do something. We need to do something really, really, really bad, because I feel like being stuck in that tag team rivalry, we were all cursed. You see what I did there? And speaking about curses, the most over superstar wrestler guy, the Danhausen is over, and he is putting curses on everybody, and it is phenomenal. I absolutely love it, Hausen. I love when he comes out. He's like, "You are cursed," and he cursed little referee Rudy Charles. I know that's not his name in WWE, but that's my name for him in TNA. That's how I remember. And R-Truth, Judgment Day. R-Truth, Damian Priest, former Judgment Day. They were taking on Miz and Kit Wilson, and a whole tag team shabacle happened where the Miz is gonna come out, and then Danhausen comes out, and then he goes to tag Danhausen, but then R-Truth, it was a whole, it was a lot. But I can't wait to see what they're gonna have for Danhausen at WrestleMania. Like I said too, Damian Priest not having a match at Mania. The dude was a former World Heavyweight Champion, second man to ever cash in at WrestleMania. Which I feel like that cash in is a little underrated, because yes, Seth did at WrestleMania main event, WrestleMania 31. We were all there. We all saw it. Great. Heist of the century. But still, I feel like his cash in is good too. WrestleMania right after Drew lost. By the way, spoilers just happened. Verona Janarova won by unanimous decision in the co-main event. We're probably going to have the main event on live and talk about... There's Joanna. Joanna Jacek. Good to see champion Joanna. Future Hall of Famer. Two-time Hall of Famer. But back to Celebrity Mania. Now they're having Little Yachty. Little Yachty. Did I spell that right? Little Yachty. He's in now with Sammy and Trick. So what is going on? You have Sammy and Trick, United States Championship. Great match. Looking forward to that. But why do you have Little Yachty in there? You don't have Ilya in there. You don't have Carmelo Hayes in there. Like, what is going on here? You have Carmelo come out. We want Melo. But it's not official yet. Fatal 4-Way Mania. Let's do it. Come on. And then, like we talked about, Matt Cardona getting beat up. Aleister Black, Black Mass, Matt Cardona down. Next, you got Bayley, Lila Vacaria. They're looking forward to their 4-way tag team championship match at Mania. Really cool, because I think Bayley was screwed out last year, and I'm very pissed about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they wanted to do the whole thing last year with Becky coming back, but they should have switched it. Lila Vacaria, she's great. I love her, but Bayley should have had that spot over Layla. Let's be honest. Back from commercial, we hype up Obo versus Brock. Really looking forward to that match. A lot of mixed emotions like we talked about last time. How long it's going to go. Is it going to be a squash? It's going to be good. It's gonna be good. R-Truth is backstage with Johnny Gargano. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. Damian Priest, R-Truth defeated Kit Wilson and The Miz. Little funny match. I don't know what they're going to do at WrestleMania. They should do something, then Sami Zayn wins with a pinfall and retained the United States Championship. And that was the main event. And that was Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn. Yachty gives Trick a big introduction to hype up the match and then calls Sami the Gingerbread Man in lowercase. Trick Willie puts a boost to Sami. Lil holds him up. Trick shot. So that's the show. It was the worst rated SmackDown of all time. Because that Pat McAfee reveal in the beginning got everybody pissed off. Now I know it's like, we're going to go crying about it. But come on, you had so much better options. Why would you do that? Pat McAfee is not needed. I don't think... I want to say Pat McAfee's probably brought as many fans to the WWE that he will. Pat McAfee from the radio show, from his show, the Pat McAfee Show. So I don't think he's going to bring in any more fans. He's been around the commentator, done the Rumble, done some matches, even with Gunter. So it's not like, we need to put Pat McAfee so more people will come and watch it. No, I think we used up the McAfee. But it is what it is. It is what it is. WrestleMania, we'll look at the card. I don't think anything's changed. We went over the card last week. If I can look at anything, 12 matches, Seth, Gunter, can't wait for that. Silly, we talked about that Intercontinental ladder match. It was announced, Penta, Javon, Dragon Lee, DJ McDonough, and Rusev. Now they're like, well, watch a main event this Saturday to see who's going to enter the ladder match. It's like, we know. You already kind of swallowed it. So, 12 matches so far, 6 on each night. Let's get to 7 or 8. We need some more matches. I want to know why Gunter attacked Seth Rollins. I want to know, you're going to do iShow Speed and the Vision versus the Usos and LA Knight. If you didn't see, LA Knight went on iShow Speed's channel, I think it's, and pretty much put him through the computer, which is great. That's more hype in a 5-minute video than WWE has done for LA Knight in the last year. We just watched NXT Stand and Deliver, and I gotta make a big announcement. We have a new NXT champion. Yes, we have a new NXT champion. Tony D'Angelo defeated Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints, and Ethan Page to become the new NXT champion. I was looking forward to this. Tony D'Angelo's time is now. I've been a big fan of Tony D'Angelo ever since he was with Stax and all the other guys and in that one faction, the Italian, bada bing. Tatum Paxley defeated Blake Monroe to retain the NXT Women's North American Championship. So good for Tatum Paxley. Miles Bourne defeated Johnny Gargano to retain the NXT North American Championship. Sol Ruka defeated Zarya in their bitter feud. And the Vanity Project, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes defeated Los Americanos, Bravo Americano, Tyler Bate, and Rayo Americano, Pete Dunne. I forgot his name for a second. And then I was 2 for 2 with saying what they should do on the show. Lola Vice defeated JC Jane and Kendall Gray in a triple threat match to win the NXT Women's Championship. So, good for them. At least something is going right in NXT. Oh, and in a dark match, Hank and Tank, Silo Hill, E.K. Prosper, and Ren Sinclair defeated Birthright, Lexus King, Chandler Stacks Lorenzo, Charlie Dempsey, Leroy Connors, and Ariana Grace. Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Birthright isn't doing as good as David Finlay in NXT or AEW. But speaking about AEW, before we move on, Chris Jericho, yes, the Ayatollah of rock and roll and 7,000 of the nicknames, is back in AEW. So the answer to is Chris Jericho got to come back to WWE. The answer is no. No, he's not, because he came back to AEW. I didn't see it because I don't watch AEW, but I do follow Chris Jericho. And I think he said, Chris Jericho is home in AEW. And that was it. So, what are they going to do with Chris Jericho? Chris Jericho, he is, he's one of those people where I feel like if I was to, pick a favorite wrestler when I was young, Chris Jericho would be it. But I feel like enough time has passed where I'm like, I don't really like this guy too much. I love Chris Jericho. But yeah, he came back April 1st after nearly a year off television. So, good for Chris Jericho to come back. Learning Tree, is that still a thing? What is he going to do? I know he copyrighted or trademarked the Cornerstone. So, One person, though, Mercedes Mone, we did talk about her a lot when she was doing, like, the Ultimo Mercedes, winning all those weird championships. She's lost every single one now. No championship for Mercedes. She was, let's see, the AEW TBS champion, the APAC Wrestling Women's Champion, the Bestia Women's Champion, the Body Slam Wrestling Women's Champion, CMLL Women's Champion, the Primetime Wrestling Women's Champion, the Revolution Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion, and, yeah. So she's lost every single championship. So, we'll see. She's up. Now, listen. I think she's going to come back to WWE? No. Do I think Bayley is going to go to AEW? Yes. Do I think those two are going to cross paths again? Yes, I do. I see that happening. But before we move on, I know I just want to talk about that because we talked about Chris Jericho and AEW. But we have been doing a little segment on the show. It is WrestleMania Rewind. And we've talked about the good WrestleManias like WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 13, WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 4. But this day, 1993, one of the worst WrestleManias of all time happened just down the street. Yes, we gotta unfortunately talk about WrestleMania 9. Now, the setup, awesome. Theme, great. The atmosphere, phenomenal. I wish I would have been there. It seems like a beautiful WrestleMania to go to. But, behind the curtains, I think this was Jim Ross's first WWE show. So that is always a starting point for him. One of the greatest of all time. They all wore togas. Howard Finkel, Fincus Maximus in a toga. Randy Savage came out in a toga. Actually, he didn't come out in a toga. He came out like Randy Savage would. Bobby Heenan made an appearance in a toga riding a camel backwards. So, we'll go over the card now. I know I'm doing a WrestleMania kind of rewrite. So, I want to just give a little insight of what I'm going to do. So, for the last, 3 years, I've been rewriting WWE from 1970-something, 1985, until, I think I got up to 2019, and geez, that's a fun year to look at. Let me see. I haven't posted in a while, so it's probably second or third page. So here we go. I got 112,000 views, so good for me. But I will go talk about my WrestleMania 9, and we'll see how their WrestleMania 9 is too. So my WrestleMania 9, if I can get to the screen, October, no, I'll go back. Let's see, my WrestleMania 9 does not happen in Las Vegas. It happens on Aloha Stadium, Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, when I do this, it's BeTheBooker.net, and I love it. I love doing it. I've spent many hours just typing away, especially when I was unemployed, changing atmospheres and wrestling results and everything. So, I think my WrestleMania 9 is a lot better than what they brought. A lot of it's current, by reality, a lot of it's fantasy, a lot of it's tweaking just a little bit, 2 of 3 things. But my card, Tito Santana defeated Papa Shango. Doink the Clown defeated Crush. Razor Ramon defeated Bob Backlund. Lex Luger defeated Kurt Hennig. The Undertaker defeated Giant Gonzalez. Clean. None of that DQ bullshit. Rick and Scott Steiner defeated Fatu and Samu. So a lot of that happened in WrestleMania 9. WWF Intercontinental Championship, I wanted Shawn and Marty. You should have done it. Shawn versus Marty. WWF Tag Team Championship, IRS and Ted DiBiase over Brutus and Hulk Hogan. Keep Hogan out of the main event. And I would have had Yoko over Rhett, Same exact way that they ended it. But in their reality, which is kind of the same thing, it really is very close to me in the same, card, except they messed it up badly. Tito versus Papa Shango, singles match. Tatanka versus Shawn Michaels in a count-out. Now, you keep Tatanka strong. Shawn Michaels looks good by count-out. Rick and Scott Steiner versus the head shrinkers Shamu and Fatu. Doink the Clown defeated Crush. Razor defeated Bob Backlund. Ted DiBiase and IRS defeated the Hulkamaniacs by disqualification. Lex defeated Mr. Perfect. Undertaker defeated John Gonzalez by disqualification. And Yoko defeated Brett to win. And then I think this is the one that turned everybody off. Hulk Hogan comes out and Bret Hart's like, go beat Yoko. And Hulk Hogan becomes WWF champion once again, stealing the spotlight from Bret Hart. The reception, 16,000 fans were in attendance. Lower 2.8 buy rate. Let's see. WrestleMania 9 received overwhelming negative reviews. Slam Wrestling states that aside from the Intercontinental and Tag Team Championship matches, the scantily clad women that accompanied Lex, I'm an idiot, to the ring, the rest of the broadcast was par. Luger's narcissist gimmick and Jim Ross wearing a toga are the reasons for including the event on the list. Many publications list WrestleMania 9 as among the worst WrestleManias of all time. So, yes, it was really, 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 really bad. But, you know, we got to look back at WrestleMania and, you know, and sometimes you hit it out of the ballpark with some WrestleManias and sometimes you just don't. And this one was a stinker-rooski. But they have come back to Las Vegas this year, so let's right the wrongs and have a great WrestleMania. By the way, the main event of UFC just happened right now. Renato Moicano is taking on Chris Duncan. Live updates. I'll give you live updates. First round, Moicano looks strong against the cage. So, if the finish happens during the show, I'll talk about it. But yeah, that's a look back at the WrestleMania 9. There's one thing I want to talk about. A little independent wrestling incident. If you know MLW, I love MLW. Mads Krugger, I think he was a former MLW champion. He was attacked by a fan following an event on March 28th. Reports say the situation started with a dispute at his merch table, possibly overpricing, and quickly escalated into a physical altercation. During the chaos, a fan allegedly stabbed Krugger in the lower abdomen before others nearby rushed to stop the attacker. And by stop the attacker, they beat the shit out of him. Despite how serious that sounds, Krugger later said that he was okay and didn't initially realize he was even stabbed. That's usually what happens. I've never been stabbed. I've gotten shots and tattoos, but I've never been stabbed. He was treated for the injury and reassured fans that he was fine. Some eyewitnesses' accounts have slightly conflicting details about whether it was a stabbing or another type of weapon-related injury. So, yeah, this is not Memphis 1981. We don't stab people anymore. Wrestlers and independent wrestlers have every right to charge what they want to charge for their merch. They work hard. A lot of times, the majority of the times, if you're not a top-level independent wrestler, I mean, Mads Krugger is probably doing really good financially in MLW, I want to say. But the merch table is where you make your money. That's why intermission is for you to sell your merch. Don't stab anybody. That doesn't get anything done. That's crazy. Before we move on to MMA, before we move on to Moicano versus Duncan, little New Japan. New Japan Wrestling has a new world champion, Callum Newman. Yes, who is Callum Newman? I don't know. But he is an English professional wrestler. He is 23 years old, and he is now the youngest wrestler to ever become the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Wait a second. Yes, this is still the title established in 87. Okay. Because I was they brought the other title back and like 2015, and I was maybe that's what they mean. 2021, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But Callum Newman is a champion. He's the youngest champion of all time. So shout out to that. And let's look at the youngest. Let's see. I want to do this. youngest wrestling champions of all time. Let's go down that way. Okay, so, of course, the only thing that Brock Lesnar is recognized as the youngest WWE champion at 25 years old. That's insane. Yoko was 26, The Rock 26, Undertaker 26, and Randy Orton was 27. The youngest champion of all time in WWE, Nicholas, 10 years old. I cannot believe that's going to be almost 10 years in 2 years. So that kid's nearly 20. He's 18. Hornswoggle was 21 when he won the Cruiserweight Championship. Jeff Hardy was 23 when he won the Intercontinental Championship. Bo Dallas was just under 23, so 22. I never understood that. I never understood, like, businesses be like, we've been in business for over 37 years. So 38? Like, what is 39? Austin Theory, 24 years as United States champion. Let's see. I know Paige was very young. I'm trying to see, like, you know, I don't really just want WWE. I want something, like, more, you know, like, you know, who's the youngest world champion in TNA? Now, TNA, I don't think has had, like, a really young champion. Let's see. Leon Slater, of course, 20. Okay, this would surprise you. I didn't think about this. This could be wrong. I think I'm right, though. Tessa Blanchard, your youngest TNA World Heavyweight Champion at 24. That's something. And, of course, you know, Amazing Red, 21, X Division champion. One of the youngest recognized champions in the X Division. And the reason why your favorite wrestlers do the moves they do. But, all right, we're going to the second round. Moicano looks like he's got battered up Duncan. But, little breaking news. UFC 327 has a match change. Joshua Vaughn was supposed to defend the UFC Flyweight Championship against Tatsuro Taira. But Vaughn pulled out, and it's now rescheduled just a couple more weeks. UFC 328. Chimaev versus Strickland. That's going to be the co-main event. Vaughn versus Taira. So, that is next week. We are going to, you know, look at it a couple of days from now. Give our thoughts. By the way, I know this fight's happening. Nobody's really getting any advantage, but I've always had Moicano winning this fight. I should have said that before the fight started, so people don't think I'm picking the winner in the middle of the fight. But, you know, poor Moicano's going to start losing now that I said that. But yeah, UFC 327 is coming up next week. Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. We'll talk more about that next week before the fight. Another fight happened today. I think today, Deontay Wilder, you know, boxing guy, he won a split decision in a heavyweight bout. Wilder won by split decision in a chaotic fight filled with power shots and a round 8 knockouts and a round 8 knockdown, improving to 45-4-1. Wow, so that's crazy. So good for him, and yeah. So Moicano's got him down, hooks in, battling him against Cage, going for that rear naked choke. Could be over, guys. Could be over. Got one arm under. It's done. Wait, palm to palm. Duncan's fighting the hands. Moicano's got it locked up. Nope, he got out of it. So yeah, Duncan's pretty much bloodied open. Moicano is just on the back, just trying to get those hooks in, trying to get those, you know, up. Now Moicano got him down. Body triangle. Duncan is on the cage with his toes. You can't do that. You can't put your toes in the cage. That's all the rage with the coach and cage. But we're going to move on. MLB, a lot's happening. You know, MLB is kicking off. We, you know, we watch all the stuff, you know. Standing wise, you know, the Yankees 6-1, looking good, 6-1. Yeah, nobody else in the AL is really taking off like that. Marlins, surprisingly, 5-2. Good shout out to the Marlins. Brewers 6-2. Dodgers defending 6-2 champions. But yeah, I gotta give a shout out. The Chicago White Sox are gonna retire Ozzie Guillen's number 13 number. Yes, in 2005, he led us to a World Series, and I will forever be in that man's debt. So Ozzie Guillen, you are. Your number 13 is going to be retired from the White Sox. We'll look at his record with the White Sox. Overall, as a manager, Chicago White Sox from 2004 to 2011. Three-time All-Star in 88, 90, and 91. And a two-time World Series champion 2003 and 2005. Oh, he was on the Marlins as a coach. Okay. Breaking news. The fight is over. Fernando Moicano defeated Chris Duncan by rear naked choke. I don't have the exact time, but we will wait and see how that fight, the time in the fight. Yeah, so again, let's see. 2005 brought the White Sox to the World Series. Absolutely amazing. 2008, we almost got there. Lost in the ALDS to the Tampa Bay. But, yeah, he was a very controversial player, too. He was very outspoken. Very loud, very, one of those guys where it's like you'd want to have a conversation with him about sports and life and things. He would give you his opinion with nothing, no regret. But good for him. Good for Coach. I'm proud of him, obviously, because I think that's what matters the most. He can have a World Series championship, but if I'm proud of him, that's what he's going to remember. Speaking about the White Sox, Muntaka Murakami, home run, gives the White Sox a lead. He is doing great on the White Sox. Murakami is just what a pickup for us. I'm so happy that we got something good right now. 3 home runs, 4 runs batted in his very first season. So he is killing it right now. Killing it for us. Right now, let's see, MLB standings. We won today. So let's see. We are 3-5 of the White Sox. No teams really dog shit. The Rockies 2-5. But like I said, single digits. Nobody is gonna get to 10. Astros 6-3. Yankees 6-1. So a lot of baseball left. But starting a lot of baseball, 19-year-old Konnor Griffin made his MLB debut for the Pirates, delivered an RBI double in his first at-bat and helped them win 5-4. This is the first teenage position player debuted since Juan Soto in 2018. By the way, round 2, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Fernando Moicano won by submission. So, hey, I picked a winner right, R's and W's. Before we move on to NBA, I want to talk about this. We don't really talk about minor league baseball too much or even AAA, but hometown Long Island Ducks signed former Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer, Bauer, B-A-U-E-R. So he's on the minor league team. He's trying to revive his big league career after serving 194 game suspension for violating MLB's domestic violence. So, yeah, Long Island Ducks. I've been to a few Ducks games. So, go Ducks. Go Ducks. And, Trevor, if everything's good, hope to see you in the big leagues again. If you. Well, yeah. So, now we're going to move on to the NBA because that's what we do. And we're going to talk about Luka Doncic, who is out for the season. Yes, Luka Doncic is out. He is going through a lot in not only his career, but in his life. So Luka Doncic, he is out. He's not going to get any of that MVP consideration due to that 62-game BS, Gotta play 62 games or else, But, he's the third youngest player to ever reach 15,000 points, trailing LeBron James and Kevin Durant. But what do you got? He's hurt, right? Let's see. Him and Austin Reeves are hurt too. So a big blow to the Lakers right before the playoffs start. Complete shock to the fans of the Lakers. Missed time with a grade 2 oblique injury. That's Austin Reeves. And Luka after he stayed a grade 2 hamstring injury. So, LeBron is still the greatest of all time, but having Luka right there, you need to do something, man. You need to do something. And I don't know why my computer just keeps doing this, so I need to get out of some of these pages. All right, that was cool. Good fight. Good night. Cooper Flagg, though. My boy Cooper Flagg became the first teenager in NBA history with 50-point game. Yes, no other in NBA history has a 50-point. Luka got cursed by Danhausen. Well, you know what? I hear about his personal life, and I hear about this, and then should have stayed in Dallas. That's all I'm going to say. Speaking about somebody who should stay where they are, the NBA is a big investigating in the Milwaukee Bucks. The issue, Giannis Antetokounmpo says he's healthy, but the team has kept him out. So what does that mean? That means they're pretty much tanking and violating player participation rules. So, if your superstar can play and he doesn't play, that looks pretty bad. The Milwaukee Bucks season is over, so it doesn't even matter. We will look at the standings because the playoffs are literally in 14 days, 2 weeks until the playoffs start, and I can't wait. I really can't. Every team that we talked about has made the postseason. There's no more clinching or anything. But standings, let's see. So let's see. Go to conference, division. No, conference. Yeah. So Pistons are the first seed. I think that's it, right? Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavaliers, Hawks, and Raptors. Playing Sixers, Hornets, Magic, and Heat. Bucks, Bulls, Pacers, Nets, Wizards, they're out. The Thunder have won the Northwest. Wait, is that right? Spurs have won the Southwest. Lakers have won the Pacific. Nuggets, Rockets have won, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have all in the playoffs. Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, and Warriors are also in. Jazz, Kings, Mavericks, Pelicans, and Grizzlies are all eliminated. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Let's see. If the playoffs were to begin now, Clippers, Warriors, Suns, Trailblazers in the play-in. So just a lot going on with the playoffs. We'll talk more about that when it happens. The play-in is actually in 10 days. Playoffs are on the 18th. But moving on, I got to make the announcement. For the first time since 2010, the Buffalo Sabres are in the playoffs. Yes, I take full credit for the Buffalo Sabres moving on to the playoffs because they have been shit. And I called out the Buffalo Sabres and said, you have been shit. And they're like, listen, Brat, we're not shit anymore. And they have clinched the playoffs. So that means I have to go get a Buffalo Sabres shirt and wear it on the show. That's good for Buffalo because I'm a Raiders fan. We haven't won shit. I'm a White Sox fan. We haven't won shit. So seeing a franchise that struggled and now has finally made the postseason after so long, good for them. I'm happy. I'm not a Buffalo fan, and the showing him. But what just good for them. The Hurricanes and Lightning and Sabres have all clinched a playoff spot. Okay? Avalanche, Stars, and Wild all clinched a playoff spots. But breaking news too, we have a couple more eliminated teams. The Chicago Blackhawks, sorry CM Punk, are eliminated. The Florida Panthers, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, are eliminated. So we're going to have a new Stanley Cup champion. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're eliminated too. But wow. Good for the Buffalo Sabres. Let's give a shout out to them. I don't know any players or what's really, who knows the Buffalo Sabres players? I'll give you $1 if you can tell me 2 players. But yeah, that is phenomenal for them. I'm actually really happy about that. So we will definitely talk about the Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs. I don't know the first round matchup. I don't know when that series begins. Let's see. usually begins kind of the same thing right as NBA starts. So, we're going to be busy next week, or the next 2 weeks. WrestleMania, the playoffs, and everything going on there. We're going to be very busy too, because in 2027, the Super Bowl is coming back to town. Yes, I'm excited. I won't be there because I can't afford that, even if I start saving up every paycheck I get from now. But the Super Bowl is coming back in 2027. 2029. Yeah, 2027 is next year. What am I talking about? 2029. Super Bowl is coming back in 2029. I was like, they're not coming back next year. Sorry, I got excited. Allegiant Stadium 2029, February. Maybe I'll get to that one if I save up. But good for the Las Vegas. I'm telling you, Las Vegas is a city full of sports. By 2029, we'll have the athletics. We'll have our basketball team. We'll have our football team. And we will have, most likely, 100% Fernando Mendoza. And just signed to the Raiders, Kirk Cousins. Yes, Kirk Cousins. He is signed with the Raiders to mentor young Fernando when he drafted him in just a few weeks. Now, if by, I'm not gonna ask for it, but for the draft, I'm definitely gonna have a watch along with the first pick, the Las Vegas. I'm tired. The Las Vegas Raiders select quarterback from Indiana, Fernando Mendoza. Yes, we will get him, and we'll have Kirk Cousins. So, future's looking pretty bright. Vegas made a good play. Speaking about that, big money deal. Trayvon Walker signed a 4-year, $110 million extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to say he was the number one pick a few years ago, right after Trevor Lawrence. I think they got back-to-back picks. So he was the number one pick in 2022. I thought for the longest time Aiden Hutchinson was going to be the number one pick. But they went with Jacksonville Jaguars, Trayvon Taylor, Walker. So good for him. Make that money. NCAA is coming up next topic. And we have a final. The UConn Huskies defeated Illinois 71-62 in the men's Final Four. And right now, as we're talking, we're going to look at the other game. The Michigan Wolverines are winning 72-45. So, it's going to mostly be, unless Arizona pulls out a miracle, Michigan versus UConn in the championship. Wow. Absolutely insane. But before we move on to the miscellaneous, I'm going to end the show. I'm not going to go on forever because I'm tired. I'm going to go to work at 5 a.m. I will look at my CBS Fantasy Sports baseball team. Dude, this is what I hate about fantasy. We have the second biggest lead of the week. You know who has the first lead? Team I'm facing. The team I'm facing is number one and I'm number two. And every other team in the league I would be beating by 100 points right now. But hey, that's what happens. That's fantasy baseball. But let's see. Yeah, what is going on with Arizona? What is going on with Arizona? I'm down 262.5 to 272. I'm projected to have 304 points. Every other team, besides the team I'm facing, I'm beating by over 100. So, any star player this week? Let's see. Sandy Alcantara with that dominant win against the White Sox. Max Fried won for me. Chris Sale won for me. Sir Anthony Dominguez got big points. And let's see what else. Yeah, so I don't think anybody cares. But let's we're gonna end the show soon. But it is Easter weekend, so I grew up in an Easter house. I don't know what you call that. I remember Easter. My mom. So this is funny. Growing up, I have a brother, and he would always get all the Easter eggs with the money in them. Always. He would get like 50 and I would get like 2. And they would always have like $1 in them, 50 cents, $5. So he would make all this money and I would come home or have like $2 out of all the money my mom put in those eggs. So one year she had to separate the eggs where it's like, oh, if you found his name, he got to keep it. And if I found my name, I got to keep it. But Easter is a phenomenally good holiday. I mean, you know why? It's because, Jesus resurrected. And, I don't know too much about, like, all that stuff, but I like Easter. It's a good holiday. It's a nice holiday. It's a cute holiday. It's a colorful holiday. It's a holiday. Last year was on WrestleMania, so I don't know why that happened. Never again. Easter in sports, I guess. Let's see. I mean, we have the Masters coming up. We're talking about the Masters next week. I don't know too much about golf or anything, but it's just Easter egg games. Why Easter Sunday is not like a great sporting comeback. Sports on Easter, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like a miscellaneous topic to end the show on, but I hope everybody has a good Easter. Have fun, be safe. But we're gonna get off now because I'm about to go to bed right now. A little bit shorter than an hour, but that's okay. But to recap the show, guys, let's turn that down a little bit. All right, SmackDown. Pat McAfee, horrible decision, but we're still just a few days away from WrestleMania. NXT Stand Deliver, Tony D'Angelo, new NXT Champion. Shout out to him. Lola Vice, new NXT Women's Champion. We went back, looked at WrestleMania IX, dud. AEW, Chris Jericho is back. Mads Krugger, don't stab people, fans. NJPW, Callum Newman, new NJPW World Champion, youngest ever. Moicano just defeated Duncan, second round submission, good for him. White Sox retired Isaac Ian's number. Amazing, can't wait, coach. NBA Luka Doncic is out for this season and possibly playoffs. And Buffalo Sabres have clinched the playoffs, so good for them. I'll be getting my shirt in a few days. Super Bowl's coming here in 2029. And looks like it's going to be UConn versus Michigan. So if that is the finals, go Michigan. And have a safe, great, happy Easter. And I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to be up at 5 a.m. Our schedule is open wide this week. I have a lot of early shifts. So I'm thinking about coming on the 7th and the 10th. Yes, the 7th and the 10th. So guys, love each other, love yourself, and love sports. And have a great Easter holiday. And we'll be back on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, before I leave, I did a set at Wise Guys. I don't think I ever told you this. I did a set at Wise Guys. It went okay. Cracked some new jokes, cracked some old jokes. But always check out Wise Guys up in Vegas here. You can see some of the great comedians that Vegas has to offer. But I'm going to bed. Yeah. Good night. I love you all. Bye.